China is making waves in the professional cycling world. Over the weekend, Shanghai hosted a one-day race for professional cyclists who typically compete in the Tour de France. It was an opportunity for fans to meet their favorite cyclists. Dave Shields is a cycling analyst and joins us via Skype from Park City in the U.S. state of Utah. So, tell us about the tour. Organizers called it the first ever Shanghai Criterium, historic, a borderless celebration. So what are your thoughts on the Tour de France in China?
Well, one of the neat things about the Tour de France is they always create opportunities to go out and let people meet the athletes and see the athletes all over the world. I'm thrilled to hear that China is getting an opportunity to do that as well now.
It is the first time it's been there. Would you, or have you heard that it has been considered a success?
I don't know. I haven't got any information on exactly what happened. I'm very much looking forward to that. I'm far away, so hopefully it was well received. It's a lot of fun to meet these athletes, and really an incredible experience to actually be able to not just meet the athletes in the preparation area, but literally be an arm's length away from them as they're competing. It really makes something very, very unique to the sport of cycling.
So Dave, millions of Chinese already use bicycles on a daily basis to get to work, to get to school. How different, though, is this sport compared to everyday cycling?
It's a lot different. Most people assume that bicycle racing is just a matter of strength and push, 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 but it's much, much more than that. It's a very strategic, even very political. The teams are actually making alliances, breaking alliances all the time in order to try to put their lead cyclists in a position to win. On a one-day race like today's race, it's the strategy is not quite as great as it can be in the Tour de France itself, but there's very much going on in a race like that.
Right, this is a much shorter distance. It's a more compact, I guess, a sort of compact course. I've seen one of these races up close. They're very exciting to see in person. They go much faster than you think. Dave, let's talk about the growing middle class in China and what kind of impact could this sport have on the country?
Without a doubt, it could be huge. It's cycling as a sport and as a viewership sport really exploded back in the 90s and certainly in the 2000s here in America. And I see the opportunity for that same kind of thing to happen in markets worldwide. I wrote several books about cycling, and it's amazing what's happened with the popularity. As a matter of fact, we're even working on movies in regard to cycling. It's been such an explosive growth.
And what will it take for the bike community in China to help develop the sport there?
So people need the opportunity to see the sport. They need to see what's actually happening and get to the point where they can understand how the strategies work. Once you really understand what it takes for a team to get their leader to the front, it becomes extremely intriguing to watch all of the work that goes into everybody sacrificing for a leader and everybody sacrificing for the whole. All the different kinds of strategies they do to cause another team to maybe use up a little bit too much energy at one point in a race, things like that. You just have to see a little bit of cycling to start to understand it.
And what about the strategy for the people who put on the Tour de France? I mean, really, is this going to a different country? Is it about outreach, and is it also about finding new talent?
No question about that. As a matter of fact, there have been some great cyclists from the Asian areas. I'm not exactly sure if there have been any Chinese cyclists, but there have been some Japanese and some Korean cyclists that have had international success. That's just showing how you get out there, new markets experience it, and there's going to be talent out there, no question at all about that.
All right, Dave Shields, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us.